We discuss matters of governance, who did what, where, when, why, how. And of course, we never fail to ask the question, how much more or less are you going to use? And how much more or less is the taxpayer going to incur, as well as the government? As usual, I'm joined by Emmanuel Bosire, who is our analyst, who helps us analyze as well as digest 1 to 3 things that are happening currently in Kenya. Now, it has been quite a wholesome weekend right here in Kenya. When you talk about the prayer services that different political leaders have attended, yes, and that means that a lot has been going on, of course, from prayers to the political side of things. Now, earlier on, we saw President William Ruto attending a church service at Revival Sanctuary of Glory in Ruruta Satellite, that is in Dagoretti South. And of course, before and after, while greeting the people, of course, we saw the president talking about what he has brought to Kenyans so far. And we also saw the Dagoretti South MP, that is John Kiari, talk about the health bill that had been previously signed by the president, that is William Ruto. And the very interesting thing about this particular crowd is that it was very unresponsive to what was being said right there. And I just love us to listen to the president as well as the Dagoretti South MP. And then we'll be back with my question to Emmanuel, being a Kenyans fed up of what promises that are being issued by the current government.
Na mimi namshukuru Mungu, tulimuomba atupatie mvua. Tumepata mvua, wakulima wetu wamefanya bidii. Sasa tuko na mahindi milioni 44 magunia ambaye itatusaidia kwa mambo ya chakula. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Na ninataka niwahakikishie Wakenya ya kwamba hatutaenda tena mahali pale ati unga inakuja shilingi 230. Sasa tumeweka mpango ya kamili tuhakikishe ya kwamba tunazalisha chakula, tunawasaidia wakulima, tuzalishe chakula, tuondoe njaa katika taifa letu la Kenya. Hawa vijana mko? Vijana mko area? Mko area? Nilisema lazima tupange ajira ya vijana. Si ndio? Hapa Nairobi, saa hizi nikiongea na nyinyi, muliniona nilikuwa Mkuru. Muliniona nikiwa pale Eastlands. Saa hizi tunajenga nyumba 35,000 Nairobi katika ile mpango yetu ya housing. Pale kuna vijana saa hizi 90,000 wanaofanya hiyo kazi. Hapa Dagoretti nimekubaliana na mjumbe wenu huyu ya kwamba kuna ekari 10 iko hapa. Mimi nataka nikuje niweke, mimi nataka munipatie pale ekari 3 ama ekari 4, niweke nyumba 3,000, ni ajiri hawa vijana waende wafanye hiyo kazi. Vijana wa Dagoretti mko tayari? Kwa sababu mpango yetu ni kwamba hii Disemba, baada ya mwezi ujao, hii Disemba tunajenga nyumba zingine 30,000 Nairobi County. Na tuwapatie ajira wa hapa, vijana wa hapa ajira, wale vijana wako wanatafuta ajira, hata watu mafundi wenu wa hapa Dagoretti. Hawa mafundi tumewapatia kandarasi katika hiyo mpango ya affordable housing. Tumekubaliana kila ward katika taifa letu la Kenya, kwa sababu tayari tunabadilisha sheria ya CDF. Mbali na kujenga shule, tutaweka ICT hub kwa kila ward, mahali vijana 300 400. Vijana mnanisikiza vizuri? Mnanisikiza vizuri? Nimesema hivi na nataka mfuatane na MCA wenu. Kila ward tutakuwa na nafasi ya vijana 300 ama 400 wa kujifunza mambo ya kompyuta, ndio tuwapatie ajira katika kila ward. Vijana wa hapa Dagoretti mko tayari? Nyinyi mtashindwa kufinya kompyuta? Na ihitaji masomo mingi. Hata kama wewe ni mtu ya standard 8 unaweza kufanya hiyo kazi. Mko tayari kwa hiyo job? Ama nyinyi ni wale wa kuchagua jembe? Si tulikubaliana wera ni wera? Ama tulikubaliana aje? Si tulikubaliana kazi ni kazi? Kwa hivyo kazi ikipatikana mtafanya. Ya plumbing mtafanya. Ya electrician mtafanya. Ya mjengo mtafanya. Ya ICT mtafanya. Ya kompyuta mtafanya. Hebu nione wale wanasema tuko tayari kwa hiyo kibarua. Mulisikia juzi katika siku ya mashujaa, nilikuwa nimewaambia nyinyi, na nataka munisikize vizuri. Nilikuwa nimewaambia nyinyi ambao mnalipa shilingi 500 kadi ya NHIF, tutapunguza kwa wale watu wako na mapato ya chini, mama mboga na bodaboda, tutapunguza kutoka 500 mpaka 300. Nimeweka sheria sahihi Ijumaa. This Friday nimesign sheria, actually Thursday nimesign sheria ambayo sasa itawezesha kila mwananchi wa Kenya, wacha hata yule mama mboga mwenye anaweza kulipa 300, hata yule ambaye hana uwezo wa kulipa, sasa tutawalipia kama serikali ya Kenya. Kila mtu, mnanisikia? Kila mtu atakuwa na card ya NHIF, unaenda hospitali unatibiwa na hakuna pesa utaulizwa. Na kwanza tumesema ile level 1 dispensary, level 2 mambo ya health center, level 3 hiyo hospitali yote sasa kuanzia Januari tukienda mbele hakuna tena kulipishwa mambo ya matibabu, kwa sababu maisha ya kila Mkenya ni ya muhimu. Tumesema ya kwamba katika hii mpango yetu mpya, pale kwa health center, pale kwa dispensary, sasa tutakuwa na kamati ya wananchi ambayo watafanya kazi pamoja na sisi. Kama hakuna dawa, wananchi watatuambia mapema ya kwamba hapa iko shida ya dawa. Kama kuna shida ya daktari, watatuambia mapema, kwa sababu tunataka health facility iwe ni facility ya wananchi, na tunawahusisha wananchi katika kuendesha hiyo health facility, na tuhakikisha kwamba kuna pesa ya kutosha ya kununua madawa na kuendesha hizo hospitali zenu. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Vile vile nyinyi watu wa Nairobi, muliona juzi pale Uhuru Park, tulikuwa watu wa Dagoretti tulikuwa pale Uhuru Park, wale community health promoters 7,300 wa Nairobi. Sasa tumewapatia kits, tumewapatia vifaa ya kupima magonjwa, kupima sukari, kupima pressure, kupima hypertension, kufanya nini, na watakuwa wanakuja nyumbani kwenu kufanya hiyo kazi, kwa sababu tunataka kuteremusha mambo ya afya iende mpaka kwa kijiji. Sio lazima uende kwa hospitali ndio upimwe, hata pale nyumbani unaweza kupimwa. Mnanielewa? Na serikali itakuwa inalipa hawa community health promoters. Pale mbeleni walikuwa volunteers, walikuwa wanafanya kazi bila ya kulipwa pesa. Sasa tumebadilisha, tumesema hawa kwa sababu wanafanya kazi muhimu, sasa tutawapanga na tutawapatia pesa kila mwezi walipwe, ndio wahakikisha kwamba wanawahudumia wananchi bila ya kubagua ni nani ako na uwezo gani. Huyu KJ ameniambia ati hapa kuna watu wanataka kuiba shamba ya wananchi. Ati pale mahali tumeweka nyumba ya DC, tumeweka ofisi ya CDF, tumeweka sijui makanika wako pale na kiwanja iko pale. Ati kuna mtu anataka kugrab hiyo shamba. Sasa wacha mimi nimwambie nikiwa Dagoretti, hawa grabbers na wakora wa pale na wafisadi mambo yao ni matatu. Hakuna. Sijui kama tunaelewana. Na ile kifaa nilipatiwa pale Kasarani, si pale Kasarani siku ya swearing in, si kuna kitu nilipatiwa? Mnafikiri ni ya kukata mboga? Si ni ya kufyeka hawa wakora? Ndawafyeka kweli kweli.
Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi nataka tu niwaambie hawa vijana wetu, sababu naona watu wa bodaboda hapa, naona watu wako kwa soko, naona mahawkers. Kwanza kabisa hawa ndio watu ulisema utaundia serikali na utaunda serikali na wao. Na nikushukuru sababu kuanzia mwezi ujao kwenda Januari, ile mswada rais ametia kidole siku ya Friday wa NHIF na Universal Healthcare. Wewe ukiwa mtu wa bodaboda upate ajali, hiyo ni emergency. Ukienda hospitali unatibiwa, unaenda nyumbani, rais mwenyewe na serikali wanakulipia bill. Wale walikuwa nalipa shilingi 500 ya NHIF, sasa utakuwa ukilipa shilingi 300, uko na kadi yako NHIF, na gharama yote ya hospitali, hata dawa, hata ya kulipa daktari, ni serikali itakulipia. Sio ndio kazi mlipea huyu mungwana? Ndio kazi mlimpea? Achape job, achape kazi, na asisikize kelele ya wale. Asante, Mungu awabariki.
Rais wetu, tumefurahi sana kuwa na wewe hapa siku ya leo, na haswa mimi kama hasra kupata mahasra wenzangu, kwa sababu mambo mengi rais wetu anafanya, na haswa katika hii bajeti yako ya kwanza umetuambia maneno yote tuangalie hawa wadosi wetu mahasra wa Kenya, na ndio maana siku ya Friday wewe mwenyewe umelaunch healthcare program ambayo itaangalia wale wako chini zaidi, ambao wale hata hawana mapato katika ile mfumo mpya wa NHIF hawatakuwa wanalipa chochote, kwa sababu tunataka Wakenya wote wakuwe sawa. Na ya mwisho, mimi nakushukuru rais wetu, umeweka pesa ya kutosha katika elimu, kwa sababu sisi na Wakenya wote kuwa sawa, mtoto wa mdosi na mwenye hana mapato kuwa sawa, wanawekwa sawa na masomo na elimu. Na asanti sana kwa sababu wewe umekeza pesa mingi kwa hayo.
Ile mpango ambayo unapanga ya vijana, hao wako tayari kujiunga pamoja, wakiwa kikundi kimoja, waweze kuchukua pesa ya Hustler Fund kuanzia 200,000 kwenda hadi 1,000,000 katika mipango yao. Ya pili, Mheshimiwa Rais, wana Dagoretti wamefurahi kwamba wewe unaweka ahadi. Ulipokuja hapa ulituambia kwamba utakapochaguliwa rais utarejea kutuambia asante. Asante zako tumeanza kuzipokea. Ulikuwa umetueleza kwamba tutajenga shule kule Lenana. Hivi leo wana Dagoretti na watangazia kwamba serikali ya Mheshimiwa Rais tayari ishatoa shilingi milioni 30 tuanze shule ya Lenana, na wiki iliyopita tuliuchimba msingi. Mheshimiwa Rais, wamenieleza hasa kule ambako kumekwama, yale maendeleo tunaweza kufanya na CDF tunayafanya. Yale yamekwama, wewe sasa ukiwa rais ni wewe unaweza tukuamulia. Kuna eneo kule juu ambalo linajulikana kama Motego. Motego barabara ilibakisha mita 800 kwa kuwa tulipata shida na shule ya Lenana na wale watu wa reli. Mheshimiwa Rais, leo umesema neno moja na tunajua hiyo barabara ya Motego itajengwa. Mheshimiwa Rais, kuna ward mzima ambayo haina shule, ni location ya pale Odhero. Watoto wa Odhero hawana shule ya umma. Tunauliza Mheshimiwa Rais, hawa majirani wetu wema, hawa ambao wanajulikana kama Ilri, hao Ilri waweze kufanya vile Lenana wamefanya, kwa sababu Ngando tumepata shule. Hawa watu wa Ilri nao pia watupe nafasi tupate shule pande ile.
Yeah, so that was President, that is William Ruto, as well as the Dagoretti South MP, after the church service that was happening at Dagoretti South. Now, Emmanuel, is this really what Kenyans want to hear? Because that crowd was very, very unresponsive to these two parties. Now, of course, we have seen a number of times when Kenyans are actually going or attending this particular political rallies, as well as just speeches by different presidents. A lot of things happen. And for President William Ruto, for the past few gatherings, some of the things that have been mentioned mostly are fertilizer, affordable housing that is going to, or aimed at creating employment for the youth, that is under Mujengo, and plumbing, saying Wera ni Wera, as well as under ICT. So I shoot my question again to you, Emmanuel. Is this really what Kenyans want to hear?
One, The reasons, at times you can be forced to hear things that you don't want to hear. The problem is that when you keep on promising and promising, your sweetness to the people ends. It's like just taking sugar every morning and you eating it. At times you can reach a point that saturation point is too high. So to the president, William Ruto, is too much of public appearance. He's too, every day is in the public. And we know that the office where he should be, we seated there. So the president at the moment should be seated in State House, doing office work. The things that he's doing on the ground, this is not the right time. Let him only comes once for a while.
No.
So as to give even the presidency, people to know that it's not easy seeing a president every day and then. You know, there's a time we had President Kenyatta going. We never had him almost 2 months. And Kenyans were asking, where's our president?
No.
Where's our president? We really miss it. So that idea should be bought by those with the president and even the president himself. When you're always available to the people, you lose your value. So first you'll be forced to lie to them. And when you use a lie will come.
No.
So for you to prevent or hide this lie, you will always keep telling lies. So first, he has failed terribly in achieving his manifesto. For the first 3 months, he did nothing. No government in the world has ever given a manifesto 3 months. First, route at one, we saw he has done terribly nothing. And then now, this year, second year that has begun in office, so you've done nothing in your manifesto the first 3 months. The first year you've done nothing, and you keep on appearing on the public. What umechoka nawe? So they are no use to you. You are telling them things they cannot add up to them.
No.
So like the audience involvement, something that he wanted to do, you'll be embarrassed more and more now. You'll be embarrassed more and more. And yes, we are Christians, and it's good to take religion. But when you tell Kenyans that it's God, it becomes people even would doubt who your God is. When you tell people that we pray to God to give us rain, hey, they are doubting you. They know for sure that this God who controls how rain should come. Like you told us El Nino, but there's El Nino.
No. The Met department took that back, by the way. They just said we're going to experience rains, not El Nino.
And you see now, when you give promises and you don't fulfill them, people will be tired of it. They not even want to listen to you. So like you saw the embarrassment he got himself. And it will always, the first thing it has started, it will always be happening all over parts it's going. And this brings us a big picture that Kenyans now, we're fed up with the leadership. And when we are fed up with the leadership, this is what I've been saying, come 2027, whoever will be strong to fight Ruto will make it easily to State House. Whoever will play his cards well and fight everything that Ruto does to the end, come 2027, it'll make it easy. Not that he's a good person to bring an end to the problems Kenyans will have, but because we are tired with the current president. We are tired with him. And now when you're tired with the president, and time is a good judge. Time flies. Next a few months we'll be talking Ruto as two. And it's only this year, next year. The other year it's campaigns. I'm happy that he is campaigning now. And he's always in campaign mode. Every day. He's always in campaign mode. Yeah.
And okay, when you look at President Ruto as well as Gachagwa's statements previously, they said that they actually inherited a dilapidated economy, And we saw a statement by the president saying that he's actually very lucky, or he finds himself a very lucky man to be the president of Kenya during this tough economic times as well. And part of his agenda, of course, is to revive the Kenyan economy. Seeing some leaders say, give him time, he's going to deliver. Others saying there's no time, Ruto, you're not gonna deliver and all that. Is Ruto really, according to his statements, if indeed he makes it out over 2027, at least having done something in Kenya, will he go down, or do you see him going down history as one of probably the most remembered presidents in Kenya in a positive way?
No. We say that history can be broken. There's this tendency and belief that we're having as a country that it's not easy to remove a sitting president, especially with defending the second term. Initially, we had a constitution that allowed someone to vie as many times as possible. Something we saw made Moi become a president 24 years, making it Jomo ruling for a long period. But with the new constitution that only limited to 2 terms of 5 years each. So you find out that the president, he has started on a bad note, on a low note. At first, in as much they're saying that they inherited a bad economy. What happens when you inherit a bad economy? Kenyans will never understand that you inherited a bad economy. And when you go to the constitution, you say that how much we as a country lose every month, from public officers. We lose a lot of money. There's a time last year President Kenyatta came out saying that 2 billion get lost from the president's office. And it was pointed out that it was his office that money was being squandered. So when you inherit a bad economy, first thing that you need to do is to reduce the number of promises that you're making out. When you move every part of the country, you're telling them that you want to build this road, you want to connect these and these kilometers of roads, we want to build these and these roads, without knowing you have pending bills that you need to sort out. You need to pay the contractors. You need to pay the civil servants. You need to pay debts the country is owing. You need to start new projects. You need to complete projects that have been running by other governments. So when you get more and more of this, you find out that as a president who is sitting and at one you've not sorted out the bad economy, it becomes difficult for you to sort out in the second economy. So perhaps he's looking a way to get his way to people control the country. Tuko na wananchi, tuko na wananchi. So when you have the rich tycoons who control politics, and this we know that any politics is being controlled by business. The golden says that whoever has gold make the rules. So when someone has wealth, is bound to become a leader. And this is what we've been seeing Rigathi Gachagua doing yesterday, meeting the Mount Kenya billionaires. So he's trying to look away how to have them into one basket. You saw the likes of Mashari and whatever. So it's known Kenyans, there are people who control Kenya. In as much they are not in political seats, but they control to which side the government they want, or they want to be ruled. So the billionaires and the people with wealth sidelined or took the side of Uhuru Kenyatta and supported Raila Odinga. So what the president needs to do is to have a way to convince them that he was the real person that they ought to have supported. So the real tycoon business owners who are struggling, you should look for a way on how to convince them that he is the exact or is the best person whom they could have decided to have as their preferred candidate. So first here, with high taxations, we are experiencing high taxation as a country. So when we are experiencing this high taxation, something have to be done. We want to look for a way that, business class don't want high taxation. With high taxation, there's going to be low profit. So the profit margin is going to reduce. And here it will task them to have more input. So by doing that, you'll be able to control the market, the cash flow in our country, so that those ones who will either decide to hold their cash. You know, there are advantages that come with inflation. So when one of the advantages is that you reduce money in circulation, so that until then currency will get its strength again. So we see our Kenyan dollar is going to around 160,
No.
almost hitting 160.
Yeah.
So meaning circulation of money is that bad, that inflation is high. So what they need to do is to look away how to keep money out of circulation. And by doing that, it will be difficult for President Ruto. And maybe they'll decide to invest in other countries where they will not be beaten up with inflation and taxation that is high. So by that, by convincing them that he was the right person they ought to have supported, they will get a clear roadmap, maybe the next 2-3 years. You know, business, the happiness of business is that many people invest in long-term businesses. They don't invest in 1 or 2. And in change of governments, they affect businesses. So the change of government from President Kenyatta to President Uhuru has brought that shift in the business. So the priorities other business lenders had given a priority, they have taken them maybe to see the alternative ways. And with banking system and whatever, with central bank, so you find out that we are having this problem. And you saw the other day the control of budget trying to say that the government is trying so hard to fight the amount of money that's getting lost from public offices. So this will help President Ruto to get a clear roadmap on how to sort the business class. You know, the main thing is that first, when you sort out the business class and they trust in your leadership, they will be free to invest.
No.
And this business class, when they're being named and branded as cartels, it's a bad term to use. You know, when you talk about cartels, who are cartels?
Of course, big people who control businesses, or who control like big businesses, of course, and they always have a bad motive. But those are people who are in charge.
So in fact, the cartel is only a negative name. But the right name that you should be calling them, it's a business class. People control money in our country.
No.
So when you brand them to be cartels, what they will do, they'll make sure that you fail. So how will they make sure that you fail? They'll not even be supporting. So when you have got business people on your side, and this happens to Raila Odinga, and that's what's experiencing a lot of times, that wherever it goes to a place, the business class budgets and sorts everything. The tents that we want to use, the PA system, the fuel, accommodation, the feeding system. So you find out that the business class is doing what? Is sorting them out. So when you find out that the government is the one task to do all that, you find out that money that's for taxpayers is being used badly. And that's why you see when we have politicians moving out of the country or doing any project, you find out Kenyans coming and saying that you are enjoying taxpayers' money, misusing it. But when you find out a business class, you know they have a lot of money, they control a lot of business. When they give you out for free, it will give you advantage. Instead, this money that was to be used maybe in health sector, being used in an event, is being catered for. So these are ways that President William Ruto needs to do that. And President Mwai Kibaki knew this tactic. And that's why in history in Kenyan government, it is during President Mwai Kibaki that we had many people moving out from millionaires to become billionaires. It's that time that we had many people becoming millionaires because he created a friendly environment for business. You know, he created the border sector that employed millions of Kenyans. He created the Thika superhighway. Many people up to today have never maybe stepped on the Thika superhighway, but the great impact it has brought, it has helped to open businesses. So with good infrastructure, Mwai Kibaki brought out the rural electrification, whereby electricity was being supplied even in rural parts of the country. So increasing businesses. So when business people realize this, they in fact supported President Mwai Kibaki to the end. When President Uhuru Kenyatta came in, the business class still supported him. He came with a big four agenda. He opened up the SGR. People, the business class, getting their businesses being transportation of goods, taxation was somehow fair. So when President Ruto has come to office, he's a threat to the business. So is a threat, today even people who may be used to pay by mobile transactions, they have been betrayed maybe by the Safaricom. So you find that your data is being given to KRA. And from here, you're being followed up. And you've seen there's a shift. People now don't want to receive money.
Yeah, through mobile money.
They want cash. So as a way to reduce their taxations. Because here is when to... So this has posed the threat to to Kenyans, to business class, that with high taxation, with bills that are being passed day and night. You saw him saying that I signed bills. Since he became a president, every day it's a bill passed in parliament. First, because he has the majority that he has bought them. Instead, the members of parliament whom we voted, who need to know the process of law formulating, they know the process that are being passed before it becomes a law. So you find out even some stages they want to ignore and do pass. So find out there are bills that ought to be taking even a week, 2 weeks to be discussed. It's taking only an hour. We find that 2 bills are being discussed in the House and they're being passed into a law. So without considerations, is day by day killing his trust with the business people. Remember, he told us about Mama Boga, Boda Boda. In other words speaking, that's the business people he ought to believe. So with his shift from trickle-down model of economy to bottom-up, so the business class has not really come to his model of business. So to shift them from trickle-down, where they believe that they must have the businesses, they must own the big companies, they must own the capital so that they employ those down in the ladder, whereby the president is trying to bring a shift. This shift will not take 2 days to be accomplished. It will not take 2 years. In fact, it might not even take 10 years. So it needs a culture. Business is a culture. So when you bring out to this point, the president has really shown that he's not ready to work with the business class, terming them cartels. So the businessmen or the business class will look for alternatives. And when they get out the alternatives, what they want here is to avoid the taxation. And this will make President William Ruto find it hard to fulfill its promises to Kenyans.
And most definitely, I think that is also one of the major reasons as to why Kenya has ranked really low this time round when it comes to preferred investment destinations, of which we also even saw the Tanzanian president, that is Samia Suluhu, recently, or not recently, but kitambo kidogo, wakati demonstrations zilikuwa zinaendelea, akisema ya kwamba investors are actually now flocking their country, But we are looking forward to seeing what is going to happen in Kenya, most definitely, if the president's Mambo ni Matatu is going to create a good breeding ground, of course, for the right investors in Kenya, so that we can see an improvement in the economy, or better yet, see a downfall in the economy. Now, as we move forward, we had the Azimio La Umoja group have a meet and greet that is in different parts of Kajiado this weekend. And of course, as usual, they expressed their displease in how Kenyans are being handled, in how matters affecting Kenyans are being handled, starting from, of course, the education sector. When we go to the kind of economic crisis that we're in as a country, as well as issues land. If you remember very well, we are still experiencing the impact of the Mavoko demolitions that happened, that is in Mavoko at the river. And of course, we have seen the likes of Kalonzo Musyoka go to court. That is because of this particular demolishing of houses, of churches, of mosques that were there. And of course, during the meet and greet, we had different people talk, or different people give their sentiments on what is currently happening in Kenya, what is currently happening in the current economy, as well as the probability of, if Kenyans are dissatisfied, then back to the streets it is. Now let's just listen to this particular three people, that is Babu Wino, Kalonzo Musyoka, as well as the Azimio la Umoja leader, that is the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and then we'll be right back.
Kwa maombi, hafla maombi, wameombea Kenya, wameombea haki na ukweli, wameombea uchumi, wameombea amani ya ulimwengu yote. Wakasema ya kwamba punda imeanguka. Belani nilikuwa nasema ati punda imechoka. Nasema sasa punda imeanguka. Mzigo umekuwa mzito sana. Mzigo ya Bwana Ruto na Gachetha imekuwa mzito sana. Punda sasa imeanguka, sio? Kila siku ushuru, kila siku, kila siku, kila siku zakayo, zakayo. Wakoni punda imeanguka, punda ya Kenya imeanguka, sio? Juzi nilikuja hapo nini? EPZ hapo. Nikaona maajabu pale. Nimekuta kikosi ya askari wameweka pale mavoko, ati wanalinda ubomoaji ya manyumba. Tumeona vioja, vitendo vya unyama inafanyika kwa dhidi ya Wakenya. Wameleta matrakta makubwa, wakishika manyumba namna hii ni kama karatasi inarara. Hiyo ni baada ya Bwana Ruto kutoa amri ati sasa tumepata uamuzi wa mahakama, wale jamaa ambao walikuwa nakaa pale kama masquatters watolewe. Siku hiyo matinga wamewekwa barabarani, wanaenda pale wanabomoa, wamebomoa manyumba ya watu, wamebomoa mashule, wamebomoa makanisa na maduka ya watu. Watoto wachanga wanalala nje kwa mvua, wananyeshewa na mvua. Hapo vijana ambao walikuwa nakwenda kufanya mtihani hawana shule imeenda. Shule imeenda. Na maana makanisa ya Mungu imebomolewa. Ati kampuni inataka hiyo ardhi yao. Hiyo kampuni haikununua hiyo ardhi, walipata bure kwa serikali. Sasa baada ya kubomoa manyumba wanasema sasa wanataka kuuza hiyo ardhi. Ati kama wewe unataka, sasa wewe fanya application. Sasa kwanza mtu alikwenda akachukua loan kwa banki, akajenga nyumba, unabomoa kwanza, alafu nimwambia sasa wewe unataka kuuza hiyo ardhi. Upumbavu aina gani? Unyama aina gani? Tunalaani vikali vitendo ya unyama ambayo imefanywa hapa Maboko na serikali ya Bwana William Ruto na Gachetha. Unyama kama hiyo hawezi kupita bila malipo, na malipo ni hapa duniani, hapana mbinguni tena. Sawa. Pili, tumesema tunaongea na hao watu, kikundi cha Bwana Kalonzo lakini ya kwanza ni mambo ya gharama ya maisha mpaka irudi chini. Hiyo ni sharti namba 1. Sharti namba 2, haki ya uchaguzi, electoral justice, mpaka itimizwe. 7, ifanye nini? Ifanye nini? Ifanye nini? 3, tumesema tunataka kuona kama Wakenya wote wanapata nafasi sawa. Ubaguzi ya kikabila kwa upande ya ajira mpaka ikwishe. Mpaka ikwishe. Vijana wetu wote wapate ajira sawa sawa. 3, wanafunzi wa chuo kikuu mpaka wapewe fursa sawa. Hakuna mambo ya ubaguzi. Wapate scholarship, kila mwanafunzi apate scholarship. Ndio tulikuwa tumepanga. Sisi tulipanga namna hiyo. Tulisema masomo ya bure. Sema masomo ya bure. Sasa jamaa ameweka karo juu kabisa. Mambo ya matibabu tulikuwa na baba care. Sema ni baba care. Baba care. Inashinda Ruto care. Sinashinda Ruto care. Hii ni njia tu ya kurogota ushuru kwa wananchi, sio? 3, tulikuwa na mpango kwa mama ambaye wana watoto lakini hawana mabwana. Single parent mothers. Single parent mothers. Tulikuwa tumeweka mpango mzuri sana ya kuwasaidia. Hii jamaa sasa hiyo amesahau. Hana haja naye. Jamaa kadi yake ni kutoza tu watu ushuru. Sasa anataka kutuma watu ushuru kwa manyumba ya watu. Wakija kwenu muwafukuze. Muwafukuze. Mwambie kwamba pesa hakuna. Tunataka tafuta pesa kwenda kwa Ruto. Sasa wananchi wengine wamesema afadhali tupatie ushuru, Bwana Ruto achukue mshahara. Maana ushuru ni juu kushinda mshahara. Sivyo? Gharama ya kila kitu bado imepanda zaidi. Tunataka fuel subsidies irudishwe. Ushuru fuel tax VAT kwa mafuta itolewe kutoka 16% irudi 8% pale Uhuru aliwacha. Nataka namna hiyo. Nataka namna hiyo, sio? Sivyo?
Ndugu yangu Babu Owino, asante sana.
Asanteni sana. Vijana ria. Vijana ra. Wazee tibim. Wazee tialala. Warembo hai. Wamama mwe. We kijana, we ni mama unapiga mwe. Asanteni sana. Jambo la kwanza, hii Kenya ina ujinga mingi sana. Ujinga ya kwanza ni kutaka kujengea wananchi affordable housing, alafu unakuja hapa Mavoko unabomolea wananchi manyumba. Ujinga si ujinga. Upumbavu si upumbavu. Usherati si usherati. Ujinga la pili ni kutoa mapolisi waende Haiti, alafu hapa Kenya mabandits wanaua watu Baringo. Polisi ukienda Haiti utarudi ukiwa maiti. Vijana ria. La mwisho, katika serikali ya Uhuru bei ya unga ilikuwa bottom at 170 shillings. Saizi imeenda up at 230 shillings. Nyingine ni 240. Nyingine ni 270. Ina depend unaenda kusiaga mahindi yako wapi. La pili, bei ya mafuta ilikuwa 159 shillings. Wakati wa Uhuru ilikuwa bottom. Saizi bei ya mafuta ni 217 shillings. Imeenda up. Kwa hivyo hii ndio ile bottom up tuliambiwa tunatoka bottom kwenda kuibia wananchi pesa kutoka chini kupeleka wapi? La tatu, bei ya sukari kilo moja ilikuwa 120 shillings. Saizi bei ya sukari kilo moja ni 250 shillings. Ujinga si ujinga? Wizi sio wizi. Na la kushangaza zaidi, bei ya mayai Boiro, vijana ria, vijana ra, vijana tibim, bei ya mayai Boiro ilikuwa shilingi 15. Saizi bei ya mayai Boiro ni 30 shillings. Wizi si wizi. Upumbavu si upumbavu. Ujinga si ujinga. Asanteni sana.
Asanteni. Vile ndugu Raila baba ameongea, tunaunga mkono kabisa. Ni wangapi wanamuunga mkono kabisa kabisa? Yale yamefanyika Mavoko ni mambo ya aibu kubwa sana kwa watu ambao walikula kiapo wakasema tena hakutakuwa na ubomoaji wa manyumba ya wananchi. Huku wanatoa ushuru wanasema housing levy, na huku wanabomoa manyumba. Ardhi ya Mavoko ni ardhi ya Machakos County Government, na kuanzia Jumatatu, hata ingawaji wanasema hii kesi itatupwa, tunarudi kwa mahakama. Muliona nikienda kwa mahakama? Lazima tung'ang'ane because this is community land, na kampuni ya Portland Cement tayari ni kampuni ambayo hata imehara kabisa. Kama wanatoka kutoa machines watoe, lakini ardhi ni ya wananchi. Wangapi wanasema ardhi ni ya wananchi? Mkono juu. Kwa sababu hiyo basi tunaelekea kwa mazungumzo, lakini tukiona ana mchezo tutarudi kwa wananchi. Si nyinyi mulijitokeza kwa maandamano? Hayo mazungumzo ni kwa sababu ya umwagikaji damu ya wananchi wa Kenya ambao walisema gharama ya maisha lazima irudi chini. Wangapi wanasema gharama lazima irudi chini? Sasa shilingi ya Kenya haina maana. Dhamana yake imeshuka. Toka ofisi ilikuwa $1 shilingi 100 nadhani 20. Sasa ni $1 karibu inakuwa 160 shillings. Hata inashindwa na bei na dhamana ya shilingi ya Tanzania. Hawa ni watu ambao wanadidimisha hali ya uchumi, na lazima nyinyi mkae ngangari. Mko ngangari? Mko tayari? Wangapi wako tayari? Tena nataka tuone, kwa sababu wakileta nyoko wana kazi mkono tuone. Hii ni serikali ambao sasa wakivunjilia watu manyumba, watoto waendi kusoma, makanisa 5 yamevunjwa. Makanisa 5. Hebu fikiria, watu ambao wamewachwa bila makao hapa ni zaidi ya 30,000 people. Watoto, kina mama, watu wengine wanajua. Lakini tunaomba Mungu atahakikisha wanarudisha hiyo mali. Ni lazima walipe ridhaa hiyo uharibifu wa serikali. Imagine Raila akizuiliwa na polisi. Hii polisi hawana aibu kabisa. Hata kwenda kupelekea watu chakula wananyimi. Hata gavana wa Vinya hawezi kupeleka chakula. Mheshimiwa Mavoko anamshika, wanasema sijui nini, lakini Mungu ako pamoja nasi. Kwa hivyo tukae ngangari. Usiku umeingia, pengine nimpatie gavana lengo. Haya, wana Kajiado hamjambo?
Yes, and we are back. Now that is the post-Azimio visit, or better yet, meet and greet that happened in Kajiado County. Of course, that is the Kitengela region. And we've seen the opposition continue expressing their displeasure in how the Ruto government is actually running its affairs. And for this one, Emmanuel, we've actually seen a big comparison happening. That is from Raila's side as well as Babu Owino's side, comparing Ruto's administration to Uhuru's administration. Talk about reducing the fuel subsidy, talk about the unga prices, talk about the bottom-up economy and all that. But now I'm just asking the question that every Kenyan is asking. What is the role of the opposition in Kenya? And how do they ensure that they actually implement or help the common Mwananchi achieve their rights?
No, first in Kenya, the main role that opposition should be doing is to keeping the government in check.
In check, no.
But when you have a failed system of opposition, where today the opposition is in government, tomorrow is not in government. Where today the opposition is threatening the government. If you don't listen to us, we'll go back to streets.
No.
So the main reason for opposition is to keep the government of the day in check.
No.
That to prevent the government of the day to don't use all means as possible to take advantage of the Kenyan, to take advantage of the taxpayer, to take advantage of our boundaries, to take advantage of the businesses the government is being involved. So that's what the government is trying, the opposition should be doing. Yeah.
And for this particular one, is it a failed opposition system in Kenya, considering the fact that, of course, we are seeing them trying to keep the government in check, but from time to time, it has only been talk and streets.
And we cannot say that the opposition has failed. First, who is opposition? So it might get you by surprise. And the opposition we have is Raila Odinga.
No.
The Odinga's family have been opposition since independence up to today.
No.
So when the Kenyatta family took leadership, and you see this political development, so you saw that Jaramogi Odinga had to resign, forming his own party, keeping the government in check. Then when Moi is coming, Jaramogi tried Moi. Jaramogi is passing away. He's passing the mantle to his son. Raila Odinga in his youthful times, in fact, if there's a time we had opposition, is when Moi was our president. When Raila tried to get Moi out of power. And when you come to Kibaki's administration, who was opposition, in as much that we had the Serikali Mkato, whereby Raila and Kibaki worked together. After Raila supporting Kibaki, when things failed in 2007, Raila starting again opposition. You seeing 2013 when they lose election, Raila still in opposition. So Uhuru Kenyatta again in 2017 is bringing him in for handshake. For handshake, is not bringing him in as a political friend. If Uhuru Kenyatta had the best deal for Raila, he could have taken him as a running mate in 2013.
No.
If he had him as a best candidate, he would have taken him in 2017. But after humiliating him, passing all over the country, abusing him, throwing scathing words, and then to bring him in a handshake in 2017 late, only to blindfold him for some benefits, and then again pretend to be supporting him, help him not to become a president. We've seen what Ruto is trying to do. Raila started the opposition role. The president is trying to humiliate him, want even to kill him. Raila's actually, in our country, we have never had an opposition. We have only had Odinga's family trying to keep the government in check. So until then, we cannot say that they have failed. In fact, we should appreciate them, and we should appreciate what Raila Odinga has done for this our country. Raila Odinga has fought tirelessly. Him and his father, they have fought for this country. Many constitutional changes that we've seen, they were begun by Jaramogi Odinga, and they have been extended by Raila Odinga. And that's what we say, that we will take decades as a country to get Raila Odinga, to get the opposition.
No.
Because Watermelon Kalonzo Musyoka is only joyriding behind Raila Odinga. Martha Karua is joyriding behind Raila Odinga. If Martha Karua really loved and wanted Raila Odinga to become the president, in 2007, she could have assisted when she decided to line up with the Kibaki. Then Raila had the greatest opportunity to become a president. But Martha Karua swore to the end Raila not to become a president. And now she's only riding behind Raila Odinga. The likes of Ali Hassan Joe. The many politicians named them. They only come take advantage of Raila Odinga and then run away. And that's why we lose if we get Raila Odinga exiting politics. It will take us decades. And from what I can see, we've not had that blood that will continue with Raila Odinga. James Rengo could have done better, but he's almost like the age mate of Raila Odinga. Babu Wino from far, he seems to have a bright future in Kenyan politics. And you know, the goodness of politics is that someone can come again and become maybe the best opposition leader.
Yeah.
So they've done so much for our country that we cannot even point at them to their failures. If we say that Raila Odinga, at the moment, he has failed as an opposition, and then we can say that those whom he has supported and they have betrayed him, the likes of Jalango, the likes of Junet Mohammed, many politicians, Isaac Mwaura, Aisha Jumwa, Hassan, Amason Kingi, name them.
The list is
Moses
endless.
Kuria. They have, even President William Ruto, they have passed through the school of politics that Raila Odinga offered. And when he has offered all this to them, it becomes a challenge to them. And it would be so unfair for us to start pointing fingers that Raila, you failed us. Tell me one thing Raila failed us. So when you talk about the SGR business belonging to Kenyatta's family, name the acres, big portions of land Kenyatta's families own. Brookside companies. How many businesses do Kenyatta's families have?
Many.
And name the 2 or 3 that Oginga's family have. Name the 1 or 2.
Oh, well, I know the gas company.
Only 1 or 2. There are not many compared to, and maybe they are busy. They have been rightly owned with zero corruption cases. So, and you know, you are in opposition for this all long period of time, and you acquire it well. Not so high. You know what the government will always try to do is that they will work. It's not funded, so they will work out your business. They will see that your businesses are not working. They will try everything and say maybe you're not working.
Yeah, so of course you've mentioned quite a lot of things about the opposition, and I would love to ask our viewers, are you satisfied with the work of the opposition in Kenya? Is the opposition work satisfactory to you, or is it just mere statements? Back to you before we continue, man.
Now, at this point, the government of the day, Kenyatta or Jomo Kenyatta, what he wanted to do is he wanted to freeze everything that Jaramogi Odinga owned, so that to deny you the power, as I indicated is that whoever has gold becomes a leader. When you have wealth, you are a leader. You can be able to sort out problems. So the government fought Jaramogi Odinga's family. We've seen the fight against Raila Odinga. Even the demonstration, you saw them trying to attack his businesses. So without money, without wealth, it becomes difficult for you to do politics. So when we say that the opposition Raila Odinga has done, he has done so much that in as much he cannot be perfect. He have done 1 or 2 mistakes, but the goodness he has done for this our country, we cannot dare point at him that you failed as an opposition. A single person, single person. No. And it's good that even his enemies understand him. His enemies, they will say the goodness of Raila Odinga. If today you ask President William Ruto in his heart, who is Raila Odinga, he will give you endless paragraphs describing how good Raila Odinga is to our country. Talk about multi-party democracy, how he fought the single-handed can, bringing Kadi, bringing many Ford Kenya. Up to today, we have more than 90 registered political parties of our country. Thanks to Raila Odinga. Talk about the new constitution, the 2010 constitution that we are enjoying. Even talk about the few amendments that we want to see in the constitution. Talk about the electoral system. Kenyans get it wrong when they say that Raila Odinga keeps on complaining that he lost the elections unfairly. But they also want to see the other side of the coin. Can you see the advantages? By Raila saying that I lost unfairly, what amendments have been brought? We saw IEBC in 2017. Maraga Chief Justice forced to declare the elections null and void, having us to go to a election. You saw how Uhuru Kenyatta came out drunk, throwing scathing words to the Chief Justice then. And then later on things are being sorted out. We're having at least fair and credible election in 2022. When we say that Raila lost unfairly, but other members for ODM won fairly, and this is the same system. So what needs to be done, and we'll see, he has pointed out why he believes that he did not win election fairly. And what if they resolve that we want to have audit for elections? And the elections are going to be clear daylight, broad daylight, and explaining. Meaning, stealing elections is not going to become something normal.
And you've actually mentioned that, and I'd like to take you to something else. Because when you're talking about matters governance, when you're talking about auditing, when you're talking about, of course, peace and reconciliation between the two parties, or the two coalitions, that is Azimio La Umoja, as well as which belongs to Raila Odinga, and that is the Kenya Kwanza side, which we relate it with William Ruto. Now, we saw the Mandera Senator, that is Ali Roba, claiming, or better yet, calling out the National Dialogue Committee because, or stating that it was actually not doing the roles that it was assigned. Because according to him, he said that there seems to be a total confusion because he doesn't understand what the mandate or what the National Dialogue Committee was mandated to do. That is actually what it's delivering. Now, of course, according to him, the major aim, and even you to our viewers, you all know that the major aim of creating the National Dialogue Committee was to find a way to get a truce between William Ruto and Azimio leader Raila Odinga. And this has now turned, when we see all the preparations that, or all the presentations that happened at the Bomas of Kenya, we are looking forward towards a referendum. Now, I'm just asking, is it, or would you agree that the mandates that the National Dialogue Committee was actually supposed to do, or what it was mandated to do, is not what it's actually doing, but has completely overchanged it into a different agenda that looks, or that is driving towards changing the constitution?
Here in the National Dialogue, it's two things. The government gets its share, the opposition gets its share. And the opposition will be more satisfied. And for that, Raila Odinga might not take long in politics because one is taking long into age factor is also affecting him. And he might decide maybe to announce openly to leave active politics. Maybe decide to be a counselor and advisor and whatsoever. And if that's a win to the opposition, and maybe someone next who's going to become our opposition leader will be getting benefits that Raila has fought for. So that will really point that Raila is a bad person. And maybe to expound it more for us to understand is that the National Dialogue here, in as much it seems not to be serious, it's serious. In as much we can say that the government must, the government first want to sort itself out from this mistake of having Muslim Davati sorted out. And the National Dialogue, the team, is a way to see how the government is working with opposition. At times, government working with opposition is not a mistake. When the government works with the opposition in key development projects, maybe unity for purpose, to move our country forward. First we are Kenyans. Before being a president, you becoming an opposition. The common factor here is that we are all Kenyans and we need to move our lives to the far end. So at the end we'll say that during this and this time, the government did it and this, and the opposition did and this, and from what we've had in Bomas, it helped us to move far. So if the national dialogue is having good benefits for Kenyans, and it should move us maybe to the next step whereby we are able to experience good policies being more formulated, IBC being sorted, that we're not going to have issues complaining every now and then. When you go to an election and you are pretty sure that if you won, you won, if you lost, you lost. So we'll have a good country that someone maybe needs to live in as we wait for heaven. No, it's only heaven where all these problems will not be there. So after we get these problems with the IoT, somebody else will come and start disturbing Kenyans. The problems that William Ruto is bringing to Kenyans, someone else might say, I'm going to remove them, and brings more problems and even discourages us. Yeah.
Now, of course, there is a lot to talk about when it comes to what is happening with the National Dialogue Committee that is at the Bomas of Kenya. And of course, we know that time is running and the conversation is almost coming to an end before they do present back to the House. That is come November, that is late November. And of course, we are still looking forward to what is going to come out of it. If you're going to see a referendum, if you're going to see the constitution being amended, and as well as if you're going to see the issues that were, or the issues that led to the National Dialogue Committee being formed, or being formed, if actually they're going to be answered, if we're going to find an answer to the cost of living of Kenyans, if we're going to get a solution, a final solution to the two-thirds gender rule, if we're going to get a final solution to the IEBC, as well as the audit of the 2022 general elections, as well as future general elections. Now, winding up, we saw what happened during the Mashujaa Day celebrations that were held in Kericho. That is the 60th Mashujaa Day that happened on the 20th of October. And of course, aside from the big news that the president had about the 4 health bills that were signed in place, as well as the reduction in how much you're going to contribute, that is for the common Bonanchi on matters health, that is the 2.7% that you're supposed to be charged, or you're going to be charged for the NHIF. We saw a couple of people lose their lives and others injured. At least 5 people died in a stampede, as well as more than 10 injured. And so Opio Wandai coming out and actually bashing the government because they did not touch, or they did not address the issue of those who died during this particular state celebration, stating that, of course, a lot of money was used, or a lot of money was spent, but the state at which, or the state in which the stadium where the celebrations were held was quite displeasing. Now, I'm going to bring Emmanuel here because we're going to be closing with Opio Wandai's statements. Is the government actually, or is it a failure on the government side to actually mention or to recognize the number of people who passed, or what happened during the celebrations?
Yeah, it's true, because when you own responsibility and when you own a mistake, it's a sign of good governance. The fault, it was by the government. First, when you, and here I wonder the intelligence. What's their role in the ground before even presenting holding a national? It's, we don't want to have this tainting of the government now and then.
No.
Already the government of Ruto is being murdered every time every politician wakes up, points fingers to the government. And when you go to an event and have people losing their lives because of your fault, and then you're adding more mud to a system of administration. So if they had found out that the Kericho Green Stadium was not ready maybe to host due to changes in rains and the weather at large, they could have sought for an alternative. If for sure we have to hold this celebration Mashujaa in Kericho, look for an alternative where there is good drainage, where where you have how can I put it, where you have little expectations of anything bad happening. And then this will give you hope. But anyway, mistakes has happened, and when it happened, you accept the responsibility. You come up and maybe have a deal on how the government will compensate the families, and of which, at what price will you pay the life of a person?
That's a question we're asking. Is it the government's fault that these particular people lost their lives? Because they lost their lives in a stampede, you know. Watu kuvurugana, kupushiana, and all that.
Yeah, that's why I was playing that it's the government's fault, and that's what they are owning. You know, the government at large, you know, when you are having a celebration, first you must know that it's estimated. You know, remember the deputy president had gone to inspect the ground. And they had this anticipation that we're going to have these thousands of people coming in. We have this food for this number of people. So that's what I'm saying, that they are owning the mistake. First, they have done a mobilization. Maybe if they have not done a mobilization of the deputy president, maybe going there, you know, unlike many other places, it's rare for a deputy president to go and maybe do the welcoming. It's rare. It's normally done by the local leaders. And when you find out that deputy president coming in, and you have this estimation, so that's why you're saying that they have owned the mistake. It's theirs. That's the mistake. Now, do you want us to blame the opposition?
Obviously.
Do you want us to blame Raila Odinga?
We are not getting there. We're not getting there, of course.
You know, it's very rare. And for your information, between Raila Odinga and William Ruto is a crowd full.
Raila Odinga, of course.
Have you ever had people dying in such a silly mistake? Have you ever done? If they, you know, maybe that's God's will, we can say as lawyers. And if that happens, I can be a lawyer for Azimio and defend them.
But if it's on the other side, then it's not God's will.
No.
Anyway, that is how we're ending the K&A table right here. Of course, we are going to be leaving you with Upio Wandai's video. We've obviously looked at Uhuru versus Ruto. That is as delivered or as analyzed by, that is Baba, that is Raila Odinga, as well as Babu Owino and Kalonzo Musyoka, stating that the government is a failure and looking forward to reducing certain things like the price of food, fuel subsidy, as well as returning the economy to how it was probably during Uhuru's time. We've also had a look at what Ruto had to say to citizens, that is during his visit or his church service, that is at Dagoretti South in Kenya, as well as the Dagoretti South MP, that is John Kiarie. And most definitely to our viewers, we have also talked about, that is in case you missed out, but you can always rewind, you know, about the National Dialogue Committee, if it is actually outdoing or going against the mandate that it was actually created for. And more of this, of course, you're going to find it on the K&A table right here on Kenya News Alert with me and our analyst, that is Emmanuel Bosire. And depending on whatever time you are watching this, you're saying good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And we'll leave you with this piece by Upio Wandai.
Mamai, maaskofu, makasisi wote na Wakristo wa Kajiado, hamjambo? Hamjamboni tena. Ya, kwa majina naitwa Upio Wandai. Mimi ni mbunge wa Ugunja kutoka ile kaunti ya Siaya, na vile vile ni kiongozi walio wengi katika bunge la kitaifa. Ni kiongozi ya Azimio. Sisi ndio tuko wengi kule bungeni. Mimi sina mengi kabla sijalika bunge wenzangu. Nataka niseme ya kwamba leo hii tumebarikiwa. Tumetoka hapa na baraka tele. Kwa sababu tumefundisha kwamba lazima tuendelee kupasa sauti ili nchi ibadilike. Si namna hiyo? Kwa sababu tangu hao majamaa washike ushukani, gharama ya maisha inazidi kupanda. Si namna hiyo? Hata juzi, hata wakati gharama ya maisha inapanda, uporaji wa mali wa taifa pia inapanda. Juzi walikuwa na sherehe ya Mashujaa Day kule Kericho. Maajabu ya dunia ni kwamba hiyo sherehe iligharimu karibu bilioni 1 shilingi ya Kenya. wakatumia shilingi milioni 500 kutengeneza barabara za Kericho hapo town tu, na shilingi nyingine milioni 200 kutengeneza ati stadium, na mishowe ni maafa, kwa sababu wananchi walipojitokeza ni matope tupu kwa stadium na barabarani, na wengi wao wakafa, wananchi karibu 8 na zaidi. Na tangu siku hiyo hadi wa leo hakuna taarifa hata moja ya serikali imetoka akutuambia kwamba wananchi wangapi walikufa na walikufa kwa njia gani. Kwa sababu ya haya lazima tuendelee kuomba Mungu ili atupe nguvu na tuseme ukweli ili nchi badilike. Niko hapa na wajumbe wengi sana, nataka waje hapa mbele niwatambue kwa haraka tu.